Gustav Mahler once wrote that a symphony must be like the world. It must contain everything. This idea was shared by many of the composers writing toward the end of the 19th century, like Strauss and Wagner. During this time, symphonic works got louder, longer, and more complex as music began to demand larger orchestral forces. Musicologists refer to this aesthetic trend as maximalism. Performances of even Mahler's shortest symphony last around 50 minutes. The longest, the colossal Symphony No. 3, which you heard moments ago, clocks in at 1 hour and 45 minutes. But why did Mahler write such massive symphonic works? Today, we're going to take a closer listen to his Symphony No. 1. Let's rewind back to the 1700s, when symphonies were shorter and orchestras were smaller. Composers like Mozart and Haydn generally began their symphonies with an allegro movement. Mahler took a different approach. Remember that for him, a symphony must be like a world. Listen to the world building Mahler does in the opening of his first symphony. In measure 1, we hear a single solitary pitch in the violins that gives way to this theme in the woodwinds. The trumpets break the calm tranquility of the moment with the fanfare theme. We also hear a recurring motif meant to depict the chirping of a cuckoo bird. After the cuckoo call, the horns enter with a simple melody. Some of these musical ideas return 40 or 50 minutes into the symphony, giving the whole piece a sense of cohesiveness. The symphony was met with indifference by European audiences at its 1889 premiere in Budapest. An Austrian music critic wrote that, "The new symphony is the kind of music which, for me, is not music." Musicologist Philip Huscher writes that it wasn't the lack of labels or comments that bothered the first audience, but the staggering range of expressive ideas. Today, Symphony No. 1 is one of Gustav Mahler's most frequently performed works. So, does Mahler succeed in creating a world in this piece? Well, we'll leave that up to our listeners.